So, good morning, Dr. Fok and Dr. Lam. This is Timmy. Today, I would like to present to you my midterm review of my dissertation, which is regarding the topic of feasibility study of renewable energy adoption. And I've chosen Hong Kong to be my research area. So, I would like to first give you my dissertation format, what is the format for my future dissertation approach. First of all, we talk about the background first regarding the Hong Kong situation, current energy consumption, the percentage of our renewable energy to the whole energy source. The all hourly approach simulation or assessment will be made for the assessment part, all the renewable energy that can be potentially adopted. For example, wind energy, solar energy, tidal energy, thermal energy, and etc. And sort out the potentially suitable RE for wide-scale application in Hong Kong. Then we will do the site deployment. Deployment and analysis part, for the implementation part. We will analyze the existing barriers for the site and perform the technical assessment for deployment of the renewable energy source by using the GIS or other simulation tools like PVSIS, SYSC, or other wind simulation. Then economic experts, society and political expert, and environmental expert will be also considered, since for a comprehensive feasibility study report, other stakeholders concerned should also be catered, or other kinds of experts, for example, cost management, or environmental impact, and future improvement will be made. Will be listed out. For example, at the end of the dissertation stage, what can be improved in the future. For example, any new approach could be made in the future, or what can be improved. And I will also list out the alternative to achieve carbon emission, zero carbon in Hong Kong, or other contingency plan. So why RE is so important right now in worldwide or in Hong Kong? So actually, it's not a new topic. Many researchers has been made the research in the past decade. Electricity is required at any time and anywhere. For example, smartphone, computer, any electronic devices with rapid growth of 5G IoT implementation in global wise smart city, or even any bathing, for example, lighting, air conditioning, all requires electricity. However, the major source from from the power plant in Hong Kong is majorly by fossil fuels or natural gas. The estimated fossil fuels are not sufficient for planet and humans, and we it raised out many problems led by using fossil fuels. For example, pollution, temperature keep rising by the greenhouse effect of too many CO2s. So the Paris Agreement has been signed by many developing countries and developed countries that agree to, and one of the major points is to agree to meet the zero carbon emission at 2050 or 60. And right now we're at 2022. We still got 28 or 38 years to go to perform net zero carbon. Especially when you say it's a long period of time to do we still got long period of time to perform it? I don't think so, since especially if you create or build a new infrastructure, it requires time for planning, construction, and advising, and to agree by different stakeholders. It requires for 4 to 5 years at least minimum. But if you say it's very very urgent, I think we still got some time for it. In Hong Kong, these are the figures from EMSD regarding the energy end use. To be summarized here, the usage of the energy is quite huge. For example, the end use consumption is 79.58 terawatt hour, and but however, basically uh, these years, for example, 2015 to 2022, actually the end use figure is quite similar, is around these kind of numbers, and GDP energy intensity has been less out. And energy intensity is basically end use consumption against the GDP. And the goal by the government is to reduce the energy intensity by 40%. And actually, until now, after they have this claim, right now they have decreased by 22.4%. However, it's good to know that Hong Kong has reached a carbon emission in 2014, and the government will announce more detailed planning on next month regarding the 50 carbon neutrality target. So these are the two major plants in Hong Kong, not the major plant, the only two plant in Hong Kong, power plant in Hong Kong. Their responsible area are different. For Hong Kong Electric, they responsible for Hong Kong Island, Lemon Island. CLP is responsible for Kowloon territories and the remote island, and except Lemon Island. These are the existing renewable energy source distribution in Hong Kong, and in 2019 they have generated a total of 2,442 terajoule, which is equivalent to 678 gigawatt hour. And you can see the distribution of RE mainly from waste energy, followed by biodiesel, then solar energy and wind energy and hydropower are the least, since we all know that wind energy mainly come from the Lemon Island, which having just one turbine only made by Hong Kong Electric. Yeah. So for these midterm review, I'm not quite want to. I do not want to quite too technical, like presenting all the result or simulation results, or providing too technical assessment. For example, these are all the mathematical calculations or two mathematical equations for analyzing these kind of RE. No, not this time. I would like to prefer to introduce my whole planning on dissertation. What site I've chosen, or the detailed explanation why I've chosen these kind of site, and the methodology to perform after I chose these project. I chose these site. Since this is a site-based project, usually for a feasibility study of RE, they have two approaches. Usually, you list out all the RE assessment and sort out, and you have to choose 3 sites that met your requirement. However, in these Hong Kong size of compact size of area, unlike mainland China, they got very sufficient of land to perform any kind of RE result. However, Hong Kong, the sizing is quite small, and usually if you have land, the opportunity for choosing these land are quite few. So I would like to make it as a site-based project and see how many power or energy can be generated over there. So 3 sites has been proposed. 3 sites has been proposed. Assessments will be made based on the site environment, and these 3 site locations are not chosen at the business district. And I will talk about it now. Right? Why I do not choose in the business district? So this is just a small case study regarding the CIC, Construction Leading Industry Council, 建造業議會. This is the Zero Carbon Buildings (SCB), which is located at the Kowloon Bay, which is next to the Megabox and owned by CIC under Hong Kong SAR Development Bureau. And you can see the blue part, they have 606 PV panels installed here. However, if you see the EMSD simulation, which could explain or show to you the solar irradiation over there, you can see the solar irradiation over these kind of 606 PV panels are quite poor or fair, like within this 800 or 12,000 kilowatt hour per meter square, or even less than that. And why? Since there are some neighborhood buildings much taller and higher. We call it high-rise building, and block all the sunlight to extract for these kind of PV buildings. And the most importantly, these two buildings, although they have very good or excellent solar irradiation, however, they do not install any PV panels. So it's quite difficult to make change in these developed district or existing business district. So the Hong Kong government has my first site to be considered is first one is the Kutong North, Kutong Bắc. I would like to plan in these kind of commercial buildings, and this is actually the render figure. They haven't been constructed yet, but they have passed the consultation. They have passed the consultation already, and they start to construct it. And this is actually belongs to Hong Kong government, the Northeast New Territories New Development Areas Planning, 新界東北發展計劃. And this is the one of the project under them, which is a Kutong North New Development Area, 古洞北新發展區, which is located at Kutong. And usually for some new development planning, it's relatively easier to make change or adding new stuff on it, because after you build all the infrastructure, it's hard to actually make change. For reference use, this is just talk about West Kutong. Kutong is actually belongs neighbor to Lok Ma Chau, Shui, Fan Lan, between them, and it's next to the Fan Lan Highway. So we aim to build the solar PV panels in the rooftop of the commercial building as shown in the render figure. And this is just a render figure, and my planning is to put it in the commercial building here. And it's relatively easier to implement with larger sizing rooftop rather than housing rooftop, since you can see residential building for each of them, although they're occupying very huge areas here. However, each of the building are having relatively smaller rooftop rather than these. And for the commercial building, including the recreational area, which is beyond them, like here, and I have estimated approximately 0.57 million meters square, including the government structure and commercial building, and is expected to implement for 0.8 gigawatt PV plants. And for annual generation, the average sunrise time is approximately 3.5 hours, and generate for 1,022 gigawatt hour. So why I have this 0.5 gigawatt PV estimation? This is because the second reason why I chose here is the very excellent solar irradiation, which is created by the GIS map by EMSD. It provides excellent solar irradiation, which beyond 1,440 kilowatt hour per meter square for it. Just like the render figure, it's expected to have the high-rise building here for a residential building. However, if you know that sun is rise from the east and fall from the west, and it's actually like this, it does not really affecting the irradiation, the strike by the sun, and you can see beyond and next to the Fenan Highway. This belongs to the Kutong South, sorry, 古洞南. They're most likely used for villa, which is a luxury apartment. 通常都係豪宅嚟嘅, which is relatively easy, relatively short building and not blocking the sunlight actually. And what to do next? And at this stage, we can only make assumptions since they haven't been constructed yet. And for further on GIS or other technical assessment like the mathematical detail calculations, and the sizing covered, like just a rough estimation, would need to be further discovered by reading document from the government department or requires consultation from them. And historical data of the solar irradiation, like the global GHI, will be extracted via Hong Kong Observatory website to perform further analysis by MATLAB, for example. And we have to find a grid connection point and how can you connect to the grid. And this is the second site, which is located at the CLP Castle Peak Power Station, 青山發電廠. So why do I need to perform the site study over here? It's already been a power station already. First of all, you can see the basic information. The primary fuel is by coal, boy. The backup fuel is by the natural gas and the ultra low sulfur diesel. Sorry. This is the first. This is the capacity and the year and the location here from at Two Moon. So why Castle Peak Power Station? Why I have to do it in a site that used for power generation already? First of all, it's a coal-fired power plant. It must be shut down. It's just a matter of time, since coal is it's not a renewable energy. First of all, second, it's not a clean energy. It really pollutes much greater than using natural gas. And first of all, generators, coal-fired power plant generators are expected to close by 2023 under an agreement with the government. And the second consideration is it has a acceptable solar irradiation. I will show you later. And the third is the sizing is quite large for us to implement with the solar PV. Other than solar PV, we will also implement the BESS in utility scale. We'll talk about it later. Solar irradiation of Castle Peak Power Station. Most of them are excellent solar irradiation. Remaining are a good fair or poor, within 800,440 kilowatt hour per meter square range. So, the BESS, Battery Energy Storage System. BESS is actually a trend and a popular energy storage solution, especially for renewable energy. So why do we need them? We always talk about the energy storage in these kind of years. To use for energy storage for peak shaving, or use for frequency response, or energy storage for collecting these kind of renewable energy. But most importantly, renewable energy supply is unsteady, as we know, affected by the temperature or affected by the environment area, or the sun or the weather, leading to unsteady voltage or power output. The BESS could store these kind of energy first, and to smoothen the power output, and the PCS, along with the PCS, the power conversion unit, helping it to convert DC to AC and connect to the grid, along with the transformer. Schneider and Huawei has actually made a 2 megawatt hour BESS. The sizing is like a cabinet at Kwai Chung. 好似有個貨櫃咁樣啦。They have made So why do we need to mention the BESS? In fact, CLPS already have a plan to change these land from coal-fired power plant to the BESS. They would like to purchase for 300 megawatt BESS, and in Castle Peak Power Station, it has to be published. The detail will be further published. And my methodology of planning is to install the PV on the root on top of the BESS, and the total sizing approximated by GIS is around 55,675.9 meters square, which is provided by the GIS Land Department HKSAR. The actual number will further tune in later part. If we calculate, we use the average sunlight around 2.8 to 3.5 hours, assuming 3.5 hours. The maximum annual energy output is 3.5 hours times 5 by these calculations for annual. We got this energy output 903.5 terawatt hour. The minimum case, just we consider these two coal storage, is 1.43 terawatt hour. We did not consider the efficiency of the PV plant yet. So the last site is the offshore wind farm proposed at the Clearwater Bay. Why we chose offshore wind farm? First of all, insufficient land in Hong Kong, and we do not have many places for you to put these kind of RE. Second, energy diversify. Energy existing wind turbine only occupy for 0.6% of the RE source at Lemon Island. It's actually proposed by CLP already, and they want to build a 150 megawatt layout. And sorry for this part, I would like to be quite short on brief because I haven't finished this yet. But wind speed, wind direction speed would need to be further assessed from Hong Kong HKO or research regarding the weather historical data, and calculation method estimated data by CLP need to be further reviewed by me. And we have to consider also the ship pathway or other regulations by the Hong Kong government. So, if CLP has made a report, what do I need to do actually? Is it just copy from it? In other words, as CLP reports, of course, are quite useful for the reference and study. We could follow their flow, their mindset, or their study. Location can also be the same, and the generated power plants, generated output could also be the same. However, if you can see, April 2006, we have already passed for around 17 years. Offshore wind farms are being more mature in other countries, and case study may be made or be referenced from other countries to see how can it be adapted in Hong Kong with newer technologies. And also we will compare whether solar PV or wind turbine is better. As you can see from the news, in Sharting, the government has implemented the PV panel on the sea. So we will further discuss which of them are having better efficiency, better cost, or better installation method. So this is the last part. Really sorry for that. And this is just the last slide. The alternative or other implementation solutions, the site has to be further considered, is the solar brick. Solar brick, which is the brick that we always step on it, or the car. it can be implemented on a ground, on the floor, or in the highway. So just a very brief mindset is, I would like to put these solar brake on a shopping mall with outdoor areas. For example, in Funland, Kutong North, these kind of new development areas will mainly based on new development areas rather than existing one. So thank you.